I know you don't want to hear this. I know you just want to hear that if you went to the gym for 14 days straight, all of a sudden you'd come out with washboard abs, a big booty, and some nice cap shoulders. But it doesn't work like that. Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. It's been a little while. I know I've missed you guys. Hi. For those who are new here, hi, my name is Diamond. I talk a lot of lifestyle, fitness, faith, and things like that on this channel. Today we're talking all things beginner. I'm bringing you things I wish I knew before I started going to the gym. I'm actually going to do this as a series just called Things I Wish I Knew. And it's going to be about the things I wish I knew before I started going to the gym and I started exercising, things I wish I knew before I started eating healthy and focusing on nutrition, as well as things I wish I knew before I started to take my mental health and my relationship with God very seriously. So these are the three things that I plan to tackle in this series. And today we're talking all things exercise because you know what I'm doing? I'm getting ready for the gym. I'm always getting ready for the gym. Let's hop into it. Normally in typical fashion, we'd start with moisturizer, but if I remember correctly and like feeling my face, I'm pretty sure I moisturized before I trained my mom this morning. So we're gonna skip that, hop straight into the brows. But the first thing that I wish I knew when I first started going to the gym is that I need a plan. You need a plan because you should not be changing your workouts week in and week out. And also, in the same breath as not switching up the exercises, please, please, please stop going on Instagram and TikTok the morning of and being like, this is the workout that I'm gonna do today. Because while it's great and I love the fact that you're moving your body, if you want to make progress, picking different exercises and different movements that you do inconsistently is not gonna bring you progress. Inconsistency doesn't bring progress in anything. And unfortunately, just randomly picking out workouts each week and not tracking them, that's the other thing. Randomly picking out workouts and not tracking them week in and week out is not going to give you a baseline to start with or a number to work towards. For you to actually see some strength gains, to see some muscle gains, you need to pick exercises and stick with them. Personally, I tend to stick with exercises for about 6 to 8 weeks and then I may switch them up. I am very much a creature of habit. I have discovered over the last, been working out, 3 years now? I've discovered over the last 3 years the movements that I enjoy and the movements that I do not enjoy. And I've found alternatives for the movements I don't enjoy. So at this point, I don't really switch up my workouts very much. I may change the order if there's something I'd like to focus on for that training block. There is a bit of change and flexibility when it comes to programming. But honestly, simple, stupid, easy is the best way to go. And something that you can stick to is best when it comes to figuring out an exercise plan. If you are not really comfortable with programming something for yourself, there are plenty of programs online. You can also reach out to a coach. You know, if you need some help when it comes to programming. The next thing, kind of in the same breath as having a plan in a way, what should be a part of your plan? You need rest days. Rest days are important. When I first started going to the gym, I was going to the gym 6 days a week and like heavy lifting 6 days a week. I bet if I were to go back and look at my cortisol levels at that time, I know there's no way that my cortisol levels were not through the roof when I was doing that, which would make sense because my hunger was through the roof. My sleep was all over the place. Like looking back, I can absolutely tell that I was overtraining and my body was telling me that I was overtraining. Rest is important. Not resting is not going to get you to your goals faster. I will say it again. Skipping rest days is not going to get you to your goal faster. If anything, it's going to hinder you from getting there. I know you don't want to hear this. I know you just want to hear that if you went to the gym for 14 days straight, all of a sudden you'd come out with washboard abs, a big booty, and some nice cap shoulders. But it doesn't work like that. Ooh, eek. It doesn't work like that, I know. You need to be patient and change takes time. When I first started going to the gym in 2021, I was thinking that like by May, I was gonna be exactly where I wanted to be. May came around, I very much wasn't. And then I was like, okay, I'm gonna lock in for the summer. As I was like drinking every single day and like just eating ridiculous things, just overtraining and under rest. It was just, I didn't do anything but put my body in a constant state of stress for like the first year of my fitness journey. I was working out way too much, not eating anything that was nourishing my body, and I wasn't sleeping very well. So understanding that this process is gonna take some time is so important. Comparison is the thief of joy, and at the time I was definitely comparing myself to other plus size girls that had maybe already started their fitness journey or had started around the same time as me but looked differently than I did, and I started to get a bit jealous. I did. I was like, why can they lose all this weight? Why do they look like that and I don't look like that? And granted, aside from the fact that comparison is the thief of joy and I shouldn't have been comparing myself to anybody else, had I actually sat down and done the internal reflection, I would have known that I wasn't actually putting in the work. I was just kind of like doing the things that I should have been doing, as well as doing some things that I probably were hindering my goals, right? I was doing a lot of counterproductive things at the same time as just me doing things working towards my long-term goals. Looking back, yes, I shouldn't have been comparing myself, but at least had I compared myself in a way that was more for feedback, right? Or more for inspiration than to tear me down, I would have realized I just needed to lock it in a little bit. So yes, understand, you need to rest. And this process is gonna take time. Not resting is not gonna get you there any faster. It's just gonna honestly make this process so much longer. Had I done things properly in the first year? Honestly though, right? Had I done things properly in the first year, I wouldn't have made the mistakes to tell you guys not to make the same mistakes. Somebody's gotta screw up to like tell everybody else to not screw up. So I guess I'll take that. Next thing, I'll touch on this one kind of quickly because I did a whole video on it and I will tag that in the description below. But like I said before, consistency is better than perfection. Being consistent 80% of the time is gonna get you farther than being perfect 50% of the time. I'd much rather look back on a year and see that I was consistent 80% of the time and I slipped up 20% than see that I was perfect for the first half of the year and I didn't do anything the second half of the year. I'd much rather see breaks sprinkled in throughout the year because 9 times out of 10, those breaks are me resting, right? And listening to my body versus me going so hard overtraining and being absolutely gassed out and then not being able to do anything or just not even wanting to do anything, right? Being discouraged because I've been overtraining and now my body hurts. So consistency over perfection. Let's stop trying to be perfect because none of us are perfect. Jesus was the only one that was perfect, right? God is the only one that's perfect. Let's stop trying to be perfect. Let's just start trying to be consistent, okay? Consistency over perfection any day. Because if I was still trying to be perfect, I probably would not have made any progress at this point, if we're being so for real. The next thing that I wish I knew, no ego lifting, all right? Let's stop slapping on 80 billion plates on the leg press for a ½ inch range of motion. All right, let's cut it out. Let's stop half squatting, unless you're an athlete. Let's stop the half squatting in the name of having 5 plates on the barbell. Let's chill out on that. You know, for a couple reasons. One, I mean, obviously, it's dangerous. And a lot of the times when you see these people doing these things, I'm like, yo, your spotter doesn't even look like they can lift a weight. So we are really just trusting Jesus out here, which, you know, I support. Absolutely, amen, hallelujah. But like, when you're in the gym, the Lord has placed folks and has given you common sense to know, hey, if this is too heavy for me, I probably shouldn't do this. The other thing is that you're not actually making any progress. 9 times out of 10, when you're ego lifting, you're not actually getting your muscles through a full range of motion. You're honestly just taxing your central nervous system and fatiguing your body without any actual gains. So let's just drop the weight back, right? Especially if your focus is hypertrophy. Focusing on time under tension, focusing on tempo is gonna be far more important than showing your friends that you can bench 15 plates, okay? And if your goal is weight loss or weight gain, but you obviously want to, right? First off, there's no such, let me also preface, there's no such thing as toning up. Toning up is just the appearance of having muscle and less body fat, right? But I'm gonna use the phrase toning up because I know that's just easier to use, especially when it comes to beginners, but toning up is not a thing, okay? But if you want to be toned, right? If you want to lose weight to be toned or you want to gain some muscle to be toned, not putting the muscle through enough tension and enough stress is not going to actually break down your muscle enough for it to need to be rebuilt, which is how you grow your muscles. So if you're speeding through your movements or half repping your movements or just lifting way too much weight that you're actually not able to properly execute the exercise, strip the weight back and focus on form, tempo, time under tension. Intensity is better than load in some instances. Now, and I'm gonna tell you this for my other friends, if your focus is strength, you need to actually be lifting heavy. And I don't mean ego lifting, right? Don't be lifting things that you can't lift, but also don't shy away from pushing yourself and needing a spot. Let me explain. For the longest time, I really wanted to get a really heavy bench. And for the longest time, I was only doing maybe like 95 pounds, maybe 115 pounds. The first time I benched a plate, I only did it one time. And then after that, I didn't touch it again. And then I tried to do it again and I couldn't do it. Why? When it comes to strength, you need to put yourself under heavy loads for your body to be able to adapt, right? There's muscle adaptation that needs to happen. And if your goal is purely strength, you're gonna need to put yourself under some heavy loads so your body can get used to it. Once I started just putting 135 on the bar, even if I would do 3 or 4 sets of a single, I started to realize, okay, my body's used to this. So we don't like ego lifting. However, if your focus is more strength, you need to be putting yourself under some heavy loads. If your focus is more hypertrophy, whether that's weight gain or weight loss, heavy-ish, moderate to heavy, I like to leave at least 2 reps in the tank. Like I said, intensity, time under tension, form, and then load. Okay, cool. Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one that I've actually learned within, I want to say, the last 8 months-ish. We're in May now, so maybe like the last 8 months. Lifting and cardio is better than just lifting or just cardio. I will absolutely say that again until I am blue in the face. Lifting and cardio is better than just lifting or cardio. Lifting is where you're going to grow muscle. Cardio is for the heart. But also, cardio helps your fat loss. Simply just because you're getting more steps, you're getting more active. This is also, right, obviously dependent on goals. So if your goal is to gain weight, 9 times out of 10, first off, if your goal is to gain weight and you're already on the smaller end, you probably already have a fairly fast metabolism and you probably already struggle with keeping weight on as it is. Adding a bunch of cardio is not your solution. You're just gonna burn through more calories. But if weight loss is your focus, adding in cardio is obviously going to increase how much activity you're doing in a day, which is the simple principle of weight loss, right? Calories in versus calories out. If you're burning more calories than you're eating, you're going to lose weight. If you're eating more calories than you're burning, you're going to gain weight. So with that in mind, doing cardio in addition to lifting, you're gonna burn some extra fat, gonna get some extra steps. And I've found that it also helps with my recovery. I'm terrible when it comes to foam rolling and stretching after a workout, but because I've been walking, I've actually found that I recover better now. But at one point when I was just lifting, there was one point in time when I was just lifting 4 times a week at the beginning of my weight loss journey, and I wasn't doing any cardio. I was absolutely losing weight, but granted at the time I was 330 pounds and I was making a drastic life change. So of course my body's gonna react, the weight's gonna fall off. And then it got to a point, maybe August or so, August 2023, so I'm probably 8-ish months into my weight loss journey, and I started to notice that my body was no longer dropping weight the same way. And I realized because I've lost weight, how much calories my body burns in a day changes. And I realized at that point that pretty much I was no longer in a deficit. When you realize that you're no longer in a deficit, you have 2 options. We have 3 options. You have the option to reduce your food, increase your activity, take a diet break. I had tried taking a diet break and I realized that didn't really make a difference when I got back into it. Reducing my calorie intake was not an option because I was at the lowest end of the calories that I could consume. So lowering my calories was not an option. The only other option would be increasing my activity. And then at that point I said, all right, well, I guess I'm not about to sit here and lift extra long because that's not feasible, right? I'm gonna get tired, my body's gonna get fatigued. The only other option is to increase cardio. So when I started to add cardio, I was just doing 20 to 30 minutes, 4 times a week. And once I started to add cardio, first off, my lifts got better because my breathing was better. And 2, I realized I broke out of that plateau that I had been in. Cardio is very good for your heart. And getting in extra steps, especially if you're sedentary, if you live a fairly sedentary life, like I, as you guys see, I do content creation, so I'm either at my desk or at the gym. So if I'm not at the gym, I'm not at church, I'm at home, I'm seated. And I realized at that point in time, my activity was just way too low. So adding in cardio was my solution to get my steps up. I will absolutely say that increasing my cardio and like adding cardio into my routine has actually drastically changed my physique and the way that my exercise and my movement has changed. I walk up the steps, no problem. I walk around in the heat outside. I live in Florida. I walk around in the heat, no problem, not huffing and puffing. I can walk around stores, no problem, without huffing and puffing. I realized that just doing daily activity was so much better when I added cardio into my life. So adding both, right? Lifting is great for your muscles, great for mobility, great for your bone health, all of that stuff. But then you also need to work on your heart as well and your lungs. I will probably never ever go back to just being a lifting girly or just being a cardio bunny because I've done both. I will never go back to just one or the other. Life is so much better when they're a sandwich. Life is so much better when they coexist in a little sundae with a cherry on top. So yeah, if you're doing one or the other right now, add the other thing in, even just for a little bit. Try it a little bit and try for like a month and see how you feel. If you hate it, go back, but just try it. And the last one I feel like is kind of fitting considering my leg. my leg. The last one I think is kind of fitting since I'm throwing on some socks. Gym attire is so important. Having clothes that you're comfortable in and that are breathable, so important, especially if you're a fellow plus size girly like me or starting in a larger body in general. Having gym clothes that are comfortable, breathable, and don't make you feel restricted is like top tier. For my guys and gals that love oversized t-shirts, I got all of my old oversized t-shirts from Kohl's. There's a big and tall section at Kohl's. And you can get the cool t-shirts in up to like a 5XLT. XLT, might I add. Extra long tall. We also have extra large, extra long, extra large big as well. XLB. So yeah, if you're looking for t-shirts, gym tops, Kohl's. Shorts for my ladies. I love my Arola shorts. I currently now am probably in a size large, but most of the ones that I have are still an extra large and they fit. They just tend to be a little loose in the tummy sometimes, depending on the time of the month and like how bloated I am. But an extra large fit me comfortably, I'd say, when I was even at about 300. No, I feel like they felt better at like 290. At like 290. And just for reference, I am 5'11". So if you're around 290, 5'11"-ish, the Arola Amazon in an extra large will do well. I have that linked in my Amazon storefront, and I have the exact ones because there's a bunch of different versions. I have them linked in my Amazon storefront. But yeah, an extra large or a large, those shorts in general, chef's kiss. So shorts, check. Top, check. Make sure you have a sports bra. Got mine from Amazon. That's also linked. If you're bigger chested than I am, Lane Bryant or Soma have really, really, really good sports bras. Lane Bryant is probably a bit more accessible. Go with the medium or the high impact Lane Bryant bras. I used to work there. And then the last thing would be shoes. Here's one thing, and I'm so excited to talk about this because I was such like a hater for the longest time, but I'm actually so excited that I'm no longer a hater about this. So I am a thorough advocate for bringing more than one pair of shoes to the gym. I know. It's like bringing your entire closet to the gym. I understand, but hear me out. Especially if you are somebody in a larger body or you're coming from never having ran or walked long distances, walking on a treadmill or running on a treadmill in the same shoes that you've been lifting in is not a good idea. The shoes that you should be lifting in should be completely flat soled or even just socks. We're talking Vans, Converse, things like that, or even flat lifting slippers, because you want to be able to make full contact with the ground. You want your toes, your heel to be making full contact with the ground. And if you're wearing a shoe that has some sort of sole or some sort of height, you're not going to be able to be flat. And sitting like this and trying to do a squat is just, right? The inside of your foot is all the way up here. Your heel and your toes are on the ground. No, but that is a proper shoe, I believe, to be running in, right? It's something that has a bit more curvature, something that allows you to curve with the flow of your foot. So that is the reason I am a big advocate for making sure that you have running and walking shoes and then some sort of lifting shoe, and they need to be different. Flat soles for your lifts and a nice running or walking shoe for your cardio. Or if you're like me and you're trying to save a couple coins, knock them shoes off, rock the socks. All right, besties, thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video. If you are new here, hi, my name is Diamond. Shaking your hand. It's nice to meet you. I talk about a lot of lifestyle, faith, fitness type of content on this channel. And if you like gaming, I have a gaming channel. Link that in the description box below. And if you like this type of content, let me know by leaving a like on this video, dropping a comment in that comment section below. Next video in this series is going to be talking about nutrition. I will be talking about all the things that I wish I knew as far as nutrition goes. Anything nutrition related, macros, micros, supplements, all of that stuff we'll be talking about in the next video. So if that's something you're interested in, make sure to hit that notification bell so that you're notified as soon as that video goes live, because we're getting on it. Okay, I'm bringing you the stuffs. So now we're gonna go ahead and go to the gym, hit a little upper body gym fit. I'm feeling a little fluffy this week, but I actually kind of don't care. I don't know, I think the Lord is working through me when it comes to like body image and stuff again, because a month ago I would absolutely feel so uncomfortable, but right now I'm loving it, so we're gonna rock with it. But yeah, let's go hit the gym.
the diamonds, but with caution, as to not spook. What a spectacular species. What a beautiful species. Look at the biceps in her back as she pulls it. Look at the biceps in her back.